Hey everyone, welcome to Speak Next English podcast, where we practice real English conversation together every single day.
If you're new to our channel, please subscribe now so you don't miss any of our lessons.
Today, we're having a conversation about education, which is a topic everyone can relate to personally.
Yeah, education is such an important part of life, and it's changing so much these days.
Absolutely. So, James, let's start with your own experience. What was school like for you growing up?
Well, I went to a public school in my neighborhood, and I had pretty mixed feelings, honestly.
Mixed feelings? What do you mean by that exactly? Can you explain it more clearly for us?
I mean, some parts were great, like making friends and playing sports after classes every day.
But other parts weren't so enjoyable. What aspects of school did you find difficult or frustrating back then?
I struggled with sitting still for long hours and listening to lectures that felt really boring sometimes.
I totally understand that. Many students find traditional classroom settings challenging for staying focused and engaged throughout.
Exactly. I was more of a hands-on learner who needed to actually do things physically myself.
Hands-on learner is a great term. It means someone who learns best by doing activities themselves.
Right. I learned better by building models or doing experiments than just reading textbooks and taking notes.
That's a really important point about learning styles. Everyone has different ways they absorb information most effectively.
So what about you, Sophia? What kind of student were you when you were in school?
I was actually pretty studious, which means I enjoyed studying and took my schoolwork very seriously always.
I bet you were the student sitting in the front row asking lots of questions.
You guessed it. I loved participating in class discussions and challenging myself with difficult subjects and topics.
What was your favorite subject back then? I'm curious to know what you enjoyed learning about most.
I really loved literature and reading books, analyzing stories and understanding characters' motivations and development over time.
Literature means the study of written works like novels, poems, and plays from different time periods, right?
Exactly. And I found it fascinating how authors use language to create entire worlds in readers' minds.
That's beautiful. I wish I had appreciated literature more when I was younger in high school, honestly.
It's never too late to start. Many adults rediscover their love for reading later in their lives.
True. Now, let's talk about the education system itself. Do you think it's working well today?
That's a complex question. I think the education system has both strengths and weaknesses that we should discuss.
What do you see as the main strength of our current education system in most countries?
Well, it provides structure and ensures that all children have access to basic education and fundamental knowledge.
Structure means having an organized plan and schedule, which helps students know what to expect daily.
Exactly. And having a curriculum ensures students learn essential skills like reading, writing, and mathematics for life.
Curriculum is the subjects and content that schools teach students, right? It's like a learning plan, basically.
Perfect definition. The curriculum varies by country, but most covers similar core subjects for all students everywhere.
So, what are the weaknesses you see in education systems? What needs improvement, in your opinion?
One major issue is that schools often focus too much on memorization instead of critical thinking skills.
Critical thinking means analyzing information deeply and making your own judgments, not just accepting everything you hear.
Exactly. Students need to learn how to question, evaluate, and form their own opinions about things around them.
I agree completely. I remember just memorizing facts for tests and forgetting everything immediately after the exam.
That's so common. It's because memorization without understanding doesn't create real long-term learning or knowledge.
So, how can we fix this problem? What changes would make education more effective for students?
Schools should incorporate more project-based learning, where students solve real problems and apply their knowledge practically daily.
Project-based learning sounds interesting. Can you give an example of what that looks like in practice?
Sure, instead of just reading about environmental issues, students could design solutions for their local community's waste.
Oh, so they're learning science and social studies while actually doing something meaningful and helpful.
Exactly. This approach makes learning relevant and shows students why education matters in the real world.
That would have kept me much more engaged when I was in school years ago.
Definitely. Now let's discuss another important topic, the role of technology in modern education today, everywhere.
Oh, this is huge. Technology has completely transformed how students learn and access information nowadays constantly.
Right. When we were students, we had to go to libraries and search through books manually ourselves.
Now students can find any information instantly with just a few clicks on their phones or computers.
But is this instant access to information always a good thing? What are your thoughts about it?
It's definitely convenient, but I worry that students don't develop research skills like we had to.
That's a valid concern. Research skills include knowing how to find reliable sources and evaluate information critically.
Exactly. With so much information online, students need to learn what sources are trustworthy and accurate.
This brings us to media literacy, which means understanding how to analyze and evaluate media messages.
Media literacy is becoming more important than ever with fake news and misinformation spreading so quickly online.
Absolutely. Schools should teach students how to fact check information and identify bias in sources they encounter daily.
Bias means having a preference or prejudice that affects how information is presented to the audience, right?
Perfect. Everyone has biases, but recognizing them helps us get closer to objective truth and accurate information.
Now, what about online learning? The pandemic really accelerated the shift to digital education platforms everywhere globally.
Yes, online learning became necessary during lockdowns, and many schools continue using it now as an option.
What do you think are the advantages of online learning compared to traditional classroom education?
Well, it offers flexibility, allowing students to learn at their own pace and review materials multiple times.
That's great for students who need more time to understand concepts or who learn faster than others.
Exactly. It also provides access to education for people in remote areas without good schools nearby.
Remote areas means places far from cities or towns where traveling to school would be difficult.
Right. Online learning can bridge that gap and give everyone equal opportunities to learn quality education.
But there must be disadvantages too, right? What challenges does online learning create for students?
The biggest challenge is lack of social interaction, which is crucial for developing communication and teamwork skills.
Yeah, so much of education is about learning to work with others and navigate social situations.
Exactly. Students also miss out on extracurricular activities like sports, music, and clubs that build character.
Extracurricular activities are things you do outside regular classes, like joining the drama club or soccer team.
Perfect. These activities teach important life skills like leadership, perseverance, and collaboration with peers from different backgrounds.
Perseverance means continuing to work hard even when things are difficult or you face obstacles and challenges.
Exactly. It's a crucial quality for success in life, not just in academics or school subjects.
Let's talk about homework. This is always a controversial topic among students, parents, and teachers alike, everywhere.
Yes, some people think homework is essential, while others believe it's unnecessary stress for children.
What's your opinion on homework? Do you think students should have assignments to complete at home?
I think moderate homework can be beneficial, but too much homework can actually harm students' well-being significantly.
Moderate means a reasonable amount, not too much and not too little, just balanced and appropriate.
Right. Research shows that homework helps reinforce concepts, but excessive amounts cause stress and reduce sleep time.
Sleep is so important for learning. Your brain needs rest to consolidate memories and information properly.
Exactly. Students who don't get enough sleep perform worse academically despite spending more time on homework.
So, what's a reasonable amount of homework for students at different ages and grade levels?
Many experts recommend the 10-minute rule, which means 10 minutes per grade level per night total.
So, a third grader would have 30 minutes and a 10th grader would have 100 minutes.
Exactly. This gives students time to practice without overwhelming them or taking away from other activities.
That seems pretty reasonable. Now let's discuss standardized testing, which is another hot topic in education.
Oh, yes, standardized tests are controversial because they measure all students using the same assessment methods.
What exactly are standardized tests? Can you explain them for listeners who might not be familiar?
Standardized tests are exams where all students answer the same questions under the same conditions everywhere.
And the purpose is to measure student performance and compare results across different schools and regions.
Exactly. They're supposed to ensure all students meet certain basic standards of knowledge and skills.
But critics say these tests don't accurately measure a student's true abilities or potential, right?
Right. Many people argue that standardized tests only measure test-taking skills, not actual understanding or intelligence.
Plus, some students get very anxious during tests and don't perform well even when they know the material.
Test anxiety is a real problem. It means feeling extremely nervous or stressed during exams and assessments.
I definitely experienced that. My mind would go blank even though I had studied everything thoroughly before.
That's so common. The pressure to perform well can actually interfere with your ability to recall information.
So, what's the alternative to standardized testing? How else can we measure student learning and progress?
Many educators advocate for portfolio-based assessment, where students demonstrate learning through various projects and assignments over time.
Portfolio-based assessment sounds more comprehensive. Can you explain how that works in practice exactly?
Students collect their work throughout the year, including essays, projects, presentations, and creative work they've completed.
So, teachers evaluate the entire body of work rather than just performance on one test.
Exactly. This gives a more complete picture of what students know and can do practically.
That makes so much sense. It shows growth over time rather than just a snapshot moment.
Right, and it allows students to demonstrate their strengths in different ways beyond just written tests.
Now let's talk about teachers. They're absolutely crucial to quality education, but often don't get enough recognition.
I completely agree. Good teachers can inspire students and change lives, but they face many challenges daily.
What do you think makes a great teacher? What qualities should effective teachers have in classrooms?
Great teachers are passionate about their subject and genuinely care about their students' success and well-being.
Passion means having strong enthusiasm and love for something, in this case, teaching and helping students learn.
Exactly. When teachers are passionate, students can feel it and become more interested in the subject.
What else? What other qualities separate good teachers from truly exceptional ones, in your opinion?
Patience is essential. Every student learns at a different pace and needs individualized support and attention.
That must be so challenging when you have 30 students in one classroom with different needs.
It really is. That's why class size matters so much for educational quality and effectiveness overall.
Smaller classes allow teachers to give more individual attention to each student and address their specific needs.
Exactly. Research consistently shows that smaller class sizes lead to better student outcomes and higher achievement.
But smaller classes cost more money because you need more teachers and classroom space available, right?
True. This is where education funding becomes crucial for providing quality education to all students equally.
Education funding means the money governments and communities invest in schools, teachers, and educational resources and materials.
Right. Unfortunately, many schools are underfunded, which affects everything from supplies to teacher salaries and building conditions.
That's really sad. Every child deserves access to quality education regardless of where they live geographically.
Absolutely. Education should be a right, not a privilege available only to wealthy families and communities.
Now let's discuss something more positive. What innovations in education excite you for the future?
I'm really excited about personalized learning, where technology helps tailor education to each student's individual needs.
Personalized learning sounds amazing. How does that work? Can you give us a concrete example, please?
Adaptive software can assess what students know and adjust difficulty levels automatically to challenge them appropriately.
So, if a student struggles with fractions, the program gives more practice until they master it.
Exactly. And if they're advanced in another area, they can move ahead without waiting for others.
That addresses one of the biggest problems with traditional classrooms, where everyone moves at the same pace.
Right, some students get bored while others feel overwhelmed, but personalized learning solves both problems simultaneously.
What other innovations are changing education? What else should we be excited about for future learning?
Virtual reality and augmented reality are creating immersive learning experiences that were impossible before this technology.
Virtual reality means using special goggles to experience computer-generated environments that feel almost real, right?
Exactly. Students can take virtual field trips to ancient Rome or explore the human body from inside.
Wow, that's incredible. Learning becomes an adventure rather than just sitting and listening to lectures all day.
Exactly. These technologies make abstract concepts concrete and help students truly understand rather than just memorize information.
What about augmented reality? How is that different from virtual reality in educational settings and applications?
Augmented reality overlays digital information onto the real world through your phone or special glasses you wear.
So you could point your phone at a plant and see information about it appear?
Exactly. Or look at a historical building and see how it looked hundreds of years ago.
That's so cool. It makes learning interactive and connects digital information with the physical world around us.
Right. These tools help bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical application in real life.
Now let's discuss the purpose of education. Why do we educate children? What's the ultimate goal?
That's such a fundamental question. I think education should prepare students for meaningful lives and active citizenship.
Active citizenship means participating in your community and democracy, making positive contributions to society around you.
Exactly. It's not just about getting a job, but becoming a well-rounded person who thinks critically.
I agree. Education should teach you how to think, not just what to think about topics.
Perfect distinction. Critical thinking skills are more valuable than any specific facts you might memorize temporarily.
Because facts change and become outdated, but the ability to think clearly lasts your entire lifetime.
Exactly. That's why we need to shift focus from content knowledge to skills and competencies overall.
Competencies means abilities and skills you develop, like communication, collaboration, and creativity in various situations and contexts.
Right. These are the skills employers value most and what helps people adapt to change successfully.
Speaking of employers, let's talk about the gap between education and workplace needs in modern society.
This is a huge issue. Many graduates find their education didn't prepare them for actual job requirements.
What causes this gap? Why aren't schools preparing students for the workforce they'll enter after graduation?
The job market changes much faster than educational curricula, which take years to update and implement.
So by the time schools teach certain skills, those skills might already be less relevant or outdated.
Exactly. This is why teaching adaptability and learning skills is more important than specific technical knowledge.
Adaptability means being flexible and able to adjust to new situations and challenges effectively, right?
Perfect. In a rapidly changing world, the ability to learn new things is more valuable than knowing everything.
That makes sense. What can schools do to better prepare students for uncertain futures ahead?
Focus on transferable skills like communication, problem solving, teamwork, and digital literacy for all students equally everywhere.
Transferable skills are abilities you can use in many different jobs and situations throughout your career.
Exactly. Unlike job-specific technical skills, transferable skills remain valuable regardless of your career path or changes.
What about internships and real-world experience during school? Should that be part of standard education programs?
Absolutely. Internships give students practical experience and help them understand what different careers actually involve daily.
I wish I had done more internships in school. It would have helped me figure out what I wanted to do earlier in life.
Many countries have vocational education programs that combine classroom learning with hands-on workplace training effectively together.
Vocational education focuses on practical skills for specific trades or careers like plumbing, electrician work, or nursing.
Right. Not everyone needs or wants a traditional academic path, and vocational training is equally valuable societally.
Unfortunately, there's sometimes a stigma around vocational education, like it's less prestigious than university degrees somehow.
Stigma means negative associations or shame attached to something, even when it's not deserved at all.
Exactly. We need to value all forms of education and recognize that different paths work for different people.
Absolutely. A skilled electrician is just as important to society as a lawyer or doctor professionally.
Now let's talk about lifelong learning. Education doesn't stop when you finish school or university, right?
Not at all. Lifelong learning means continuously acquiring new knowledge and skills throughout your entire life journey.
Why is lifelong learning becoming more important now than it was for previous generations in the past?
Because technology and society change so rapidly that skills become obsolete quickly in our modern digital world.
Obsolete means outdated or no longer useful, like old technology that's been replaced by better versions.
Exactly. Jobs that exist today might not exist in 10 years, so we must keep learning continuously.
That's both exciting and a little scary. How can people maintain motivation to keep learning forever?
Find subjects you're genuinely curious about and passionate about. Learning should be enjoyable, not a chore always.
And there are so many resources available now, from online courses to podcasts and YouTube channels.
Right. Platforms like Coursera, edX, and Khan Academy offer free or affordable courses on almost any subject imaginable.
Even our podcast helps people learn English while discussing interesting topics they care about personally.
Exactly. Learning can happen anywhere, anytime, not just in formal classroom settings with teachers and textbooks.
Let's discuss education inequality, which is a serious problem affecting millions of children worldwide every single day.
This is heartbreaking. Children's educational opportunities often depend on where they're born and their family's economic status.
What factors contribute to education inequality? Why do some children get better education than others exactly?
Funding is a major factor. Schools in wealthy areas have more resources, while poor areas struggle.
Resources means things like textbooks, computers, qualified teachers, and safe buildings for learning environments daily.
Exactly. Without adequate resources, even the most dedicated teachers can't provide quality education to their students.
What else contributes to inequality besides funding differences between rich and poor school districts?
Family background plays a huge role. Children whose parents are educated often have advantages at home.
Like having books at home, help with homework, and parents who value education highly.
Exactly. These advantages compound over time, creating achievement gaps that are difficult to close later on.
Achievement gap means the difference in academic performance between different groups of students, right?
Perfect. Usually it refers to differences based on socioeconomic status, race, or geographic location, unfortunately.
How can we address these inequalities and give all children equal opportunities for quality education?
It requires systemic changes, including better school funding, support for disadvantaged families, and early childhood education.
Early childhood education means programs for very young children before they start elementary school, like preschool.
Right. Research shows that quality early education has huge long-term benefits, especially for disadvantaged children.
Investing in early education is actually cost-effective because it prevents problems later in life, correct?
Exactly. Every dollar spent on quality early education saves society money on remedial programs and social services.
That's compelling. So early education isn't just morally right, it's also economically smart for society.
Absolutely. Yet many countries don't invest enough in early childhood education despite the proven benefits clearly.
Now let's talk about parents' involvement in education. How important is it for success, really?
Extremely important. Studies consistently show that parent involvement correlates with better academic outcomes and student success.
Correlates means there's a relationship or connection between two things, though not necessarily direct causation always.
Right. When parents are engaged in their children's education, students tend to perform better overall academically.
What does parent involvement actually look like? What specific things should parents do to support learning?
It includes things like reading with children, helping with homework, attending school events, and communicating with teachers.
But many parents work multiple jobs and don't have time for all these activities, unfortunately.
That's true. This is another way inequality manifests, as wealthy families have more time and resources available.
So schools need to be flexible and find ways to involve all parents regardless of their schedules.
Exactly. Some schools offer evening meetings, send updates via apps, and create opportunities that fit different schedules.
Communication is key, right? Parents and teachers should work together as partners for students' benefit.
Absolutely. When home and school work together consistently, students receive consistent messages about education's importance.
All right, let's wrap up by talking about our hopes for the future of education globally.
I hope we move toward more equitable systems where every child has access to quality education worldwide.
Equitable means fair and just, ensuring everyone has what they need to succeed regardless of background.
Exactly. Not just equal resources, but resources tailored to different needs for true fairness and opportunity.
I hope we see more creativity and joy in learning rather than just test preparation.
Yes, education should inspire curiosity and wonder, not kill it with excessive pressure and standardization everywhere.
I also hope teachers get the respect, support, and compensation they deserve for their incredibly important work.
Absolutely. Teaching is one of the most important professions, yet teachers are often underpaid and undervalued.
What final message do you have for our listeners about education and their own learning journeys?
Never stop learning. Your education doesn't end with a diploma or degree, it's a lifelong adventure.
And remember, everyone learns differently. Don't compare your journey to others. Find what works for you personally.
Exactly. Whether you learn through reading, doing, watching, or discussing, honor your unique learning style, always.
Education is power. The more you learn, the more opportunities you create for yourself and your future.
And learning English is opening doors for you right now. Be proud of your progress so far.
Even listening to this podcast is education. You're practicing English while learning about important topics simultaneously.
That's the beauty of language learning combined with meaningful content about subjects that matter to you.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on Speak Next English podcast for this education discussion.
We hope this conversation gave you useful vocabulary and ideas to think about regarding education systems everywhere.
Please subscribe if you haven't already and leave a comment telling us about your educational experiences.
We'd love to hear about your school memories, both positive and challenging, from anywhere in the world.
And tell us what topics you'd like us to discuss in future episodes of our podcast.
Your suggestions help us create content that's most useful and interesting for English learners like you.
Until next time, keep practicing your English, stay curious, and never stop learning new things daily.
Goodbye, everyone. Remember that education is a right, and you deserve access to quality learning opportunities always.
See you in the next episode. Keep working towards your goals and enjoy the journey of learning.
Take care, everyone. Education changes lives, including yours, so embrace every opportunity to grow and learn.